Hey everyone, let's take a look at all the cool features that the Trace Viewer gives us. The Trace Viewer can be launched locally when developing through the VS Code extension by selecting View Trace or when using UI mode. You can also run it from the CLI with the --trace on flag. And of course, traces are recorded for your failed tests on CI, which can make debugging so much easier. Here's a trace of a test from the Demo To Do app. There is a lot going on here, so let's break it down. At the very top is a timeline of your test. While hovering back and forward over the timeline, you can see the image snapshots for each action. You can also see different colors under the time, which shows you when each action happened, as well as the exact point in time that the test failed. On the left is a list of all the actions. When you hover over these actions, it highlights where in the timeline that action happened, and over on the right it shows you a DOM snapshot of the action. You can easily go back and forward in time to view what was happening. You can also focus on a specific action and see what was happening before and after that action took place. And as this is a DOM snapshot, you can pop it out into its own window and use Chrome DevTools to inspect the DOM, HTML, CSS, etc. The Metadata tab gives you information such as the time it took, which browser was used, the viewport, and the amount of actions. In the bottom section, we have a range of different tabs. First is the Locator picker. By clicking on the icon, it opens the Locator box, and we can now hover over any item in the DOM snapshot, and it will highlight the locator for that element. If we click on the element, that locator will be added to the Locator box, which is editable, meaning I can modify the locator. And as I do, it will highlight it in the snapshot above if such locator exists. Once I am happy with the locator, I can press the copy button and paste it into my code. Next is the call. This gives us information such as the time the action took and the parameters as in what locator, if strict mode was true, and what key was pressed. The log tells us what happened during the action, such as waiting for the locator and pressing the handler. The Errors tab shows us if we have any errors. In this example, we have one error. Hovering over the action with the error highlights the timeline for when the error started and how long it took. If you're using VS Code, then there is a link to the test file with a line number where the error takes place, making it easy to jump back to your editor to fix the code. The error message is then shown, as well as what locator, what was expected, what was received, as well as the call log. The Console tab shows us console messages from both the browser and the test file. The first log here is a browser message and therefore has a browser icon next to it. The next logs are runner messages and have a file icon next to them. This example uses the Colors package to add some coloring to the logs just for better visibility. The Network tab shows all the network requests made, and hovering over each one shows the time the request was made in the timeline above. Clicking on a request gives you more information such as the URL, request headers, response headers, and the body. When you double-click an action, the Actions panel shows only that action. It also highlights the timeline and shows only the network requests and console logs for that particular action or moment in time. By dragging the timeline, you can add more actions into the Actions panel and focus on the logs and requests for those actions only. You can drag it forward and back in time to help you focus on a particular time frame of your test, making it very useful for debugging. Notice how the network request starts showing as the timeline is dragged backwards. When you want to go back to see all actions, click on Show All. You can expand on some of the actions to explore what was happening, such as the page goto method from the before each hook. Double-clicking on this action lets us focus on only this moment in time. For example, this shows us only the console and network requests made during the page goto action. Let's go back by clicking Show All. The Source tab shows us the complete source code for our test, and hovering over an action highlights the line of code for that action. The Attachments tab shows us any attachments we might have, such as when doing visual regression testing. And you can put the dock on the right-hand side should you wish. And of course, if you prefer dark mode, then you can toggle between dark and light mode. The Trace Viewer is a great tool for debugging, either locally or on CI. Don't forget to check out the docs for how to open the Trace Viewer, which is available in all languages. So happy testing, everyone, and happy debugging.